Yeah, Silent Hill TDS, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W. Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. Hey. L Boogie with the hot flame, ashtray full of top names, little tree for your membrane. This the 9 hour time frame. I just snatched up a 6-pack, got my hands on a lid pack, whipping up a little batch of snacks. Yeah, man, I think I'm all set. Late night, can't sleep, go ahead and just tap in. Better grab you a cold one, and we about to get some laughs in. Wild card on the microphone, he'll hit you with a couple flurries. Y'all need to just strap in for some entertainment sports commentary. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark.
Yo. What's good, folks? I know Taco Tuesday, so we got to bring the crew back out. Wild Card Mom, Randy Weber back in the building. Feeling good, feeling great, feeling good. Y'all know what it is. Y'all make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, do all that good shit. But hey, man, my man popping his shit. You see the name. So let's cut the chase. Let's just get to some basketball playoff talk. All right, let's just cut the chase. All right, because I'm gonna let you pop your shit, dog. I'm gonna let you pop your shit. Cause before we get on there, and I saw his name tag, I said, "Oh, my man feeling real frisky right now about his Knicks." But I'm gonna let you pop your shit, cause right now, I kind of like that. How you feeling, man? How you feeling about your Knicks? No letdown, or this is legit?
So I've been saying, and not even on some bias shit, just on some real shit, the Knicks should have been the favorite to make it out of the East. And they weren't. Their Celtics were expected to make it out of the East by many. Pistons because they were the 1 seed. But let me take y'all on a history lesson real quick.
Uh-oh.
Last year, with basically the same rosters, except the Knicks with a worse bench than we have now, the Knicks sent the Pistons home in the first round of the playoffs.
Pretty much the same team, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much the same rosters, except we didn't have this version of Shamit, we didn't have this version of Colic, we didn't have Grand Theft Alvarado, but outside of that, more or less the same teams, and we packed them up. Pistons with this core had no playoff experience whatsoever. Winning playoff experience. The Celtics, we beat the Celtics with a better version of the Celtics than we currently have now. The Celtics had an almost the entire series healthy Tatum. They had Drew Holiday. They had Porzingis. They had none of that this year.
True.
So why we were ever not the favorites to make it out of the East is crazy to me.
Well, to be fair, Randy, we were both on this show as the season started, and we both set the expectations for your Knicks. We both said, if not this year, then when?
Yeah, we said that. But if you look at the betting odds, if you look at most analysts, Pistons or Celtics were usually ahead of us. And I get it. We were the, 3rd seed behind them. Not that, we had also had a losing regular season record against the Celtics last year, and we still packed them up.
Yeah.
So we should have been the favorite to make it out of the East, just logically, historically speaking.
Yeah.
And now we are.
Well, I'll say this. I was a little skeptical on what Celtics we were going to get going into the playoffs, just because uh, Jason Tatum made such a huge effort to come back. And for all accounts, he said he was healthy, but you know how some things happen when you come back, and it wasn't like he like gradually like got into it. Like, yeah, he didn't play no back to backs, and they kind of will give him a night off the next day, but he was going 35, 38 minutes. So it's kind of like you're pretty much going full tilt coming off an injury, off an Achilles. And I know he had a setback, and that's why they pretty much set him down, because I'm pretty sure if he could have played, he would have played the rest of that series.
Yeah.
Now I don't think he would have been as effective, because obviously they had to sit him down. They forced him to sit down. He still wanted to play. Looking at all accounts from all the interviews that I've been watching, he wanted to play. He wanted to put it. He was willing to put his future and his health at risk and play the rest of that series. He really was. I don't think it would have been the smartest idea, but we know how pro athletes are. Hey, they got to do what they got to do, and who the hell are we to tell them they shouldn't or shouldn't play?
Yeah.
But obviously, you get past them. I'm not sure about Detroit. As much as I love Cade Cunningham, I'm still looking for his Robin, his consistent Robin. That's going to be able to pick up the slack when obviously he's getting game plan. So they're going to try to force everybody else to step up and not let Cade go crazy. So I'm still looking for his backup. Obviously, Orlando's already out of here. They're still too young and immature to put it all together.
And the Cavs are a playoff team with James Harden, so that's that.
Now
that's the end of that discussion.
Now I will say this, and not to get all too sidetracked from the Knicks. Now, if James Harden plays like he did the other night,
yeah,
we're having a different conversation. But that hasn't been the consistent playoff James Harden throughout his career. So expecting what we got the other night to be the consistent, I think that's a lot to ask of that guy, specifically because he has given us a lot of ammunition that says that he is not the playoff guy,
including this
playoff.
like two game two, like only 2 games ahead of that, he had more turnovers than field goals again, which is a consistent thing that he's had issues with in the playoffs.
Big facts. He literally, until that great game or solid game, good game, I don't want to say great, but until that game, he may have had maybe 2 games that were worth even remembering in this whole playoff series. Not just this series against Detroit, but even in the first round. It was kind of like,
Right,
it comes Harden again with this bullshit.
Exactly. Like if Harden plays like regular season Harden, they pack up the Raptors much easier than they did.
They probably sweep them, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
But Raptors, I will give the Raptors credit. They are scrappy. Still, some pieces missing. I don't know if RJ and Scoot or no, not Scotty Barnes. I don't know if that's enough to get past some of those other teams that you got in the East. So yeah, but even coming in, like we said, we set the expectations already. If not win, if it wasn't going to be this year, so. I look, man, the hurdles are getting slimmer in the East. I mean, if you guys, so who's next up for you? If you, Cleveland and
it's Cleveland or Detroit, yeah, they're the ones that are next up. And I mean, like I said, we've already packed up Detroit.
You guys match up great against both of those teams.
Yes, exactly. The Harden meltdowns, if he's having those against lesser teams, then with the elite defense the Knicks have been playing, like should be able to give him problems, make him have some more meltdowns.
The way that y'all packed up the Celtics was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Like smothering defense, and then Mike Brown was like, let's bring on some of that Golden State Warriors shit that I was coaching up there for a little bit on here, and drop bombs over Baghdad on that head. That was crazy. I was
Yeah.
like, what is this?
Yeah, no, or I think tied an NBA record for most threes in a first quarter in a playoff series.
Where did that come from?
I mean, the shooting talent is there. I mean, even with OG, that's the thing. Also, like OG had been the star for us throughout the playoffs up until that point. We lose him, and then that's when we set the record. It's like that. It's such a well balanced unit. Like everybody's contributing. Cat has been playing the best basketball he has probably ever played. Best rim protection he's ever had. Best playmaking he's ever had.
I think he's tired of us talking about his sassiness.
Yes, I think so too.
I know. I look. All
and-
jokes aside,
Yeah.
I think he's like, I've been in this league long enough, and we've had this conversation. Why can't he be the best big man in the league?
Yeah, he's got all the talent. And also, like, that's the thing. He's always had all of the talent. There's been a lot of inconsistencies. He's had this year and with the Knicks, his biggest issue has been foul trouble. He has cleaned that up in the playoffs. He still had that issue in the regular season. He's been very shaky in the regular season. A lot of people, including Knicks fans, were talking about trading him. And now he's been showing up big in these playoffs and in the last month of the regular season. And we're getting the best version of him. We're really getting the best version of everybody right now. We're getting the best version of Landry Shamet right now.
But if you guys want to win that championship, it needs to be him. It needs to be Cat, because, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously, you watch more Knicks games than me. I think Brunson is going to get his. So, and even if he has a bad percentage night, he still is affecting the game in so many other aspects. He's still involved in the game. So I'm not worried about Brunson. Only thing I'm worried about him is injury. Is he going to break down? Because there's going to be times some of these bigger guards are going to try to bully him. The physical thing. We know that. Now, I'm more are we going to get that consistent Cat that is the dominant big guy? Because we've had this conversation before. He gives me something that I can't get from Embiid, which is durability. He gives me something a little bit more than what Jokic does, defense. I'm not saying Cat plays astronomical defense, but I would take his defense a little bit more than what Jokic gives me as a big.
I mean, yeah, because Cat also has never been considered a defensive big man. He's always been like an offense first big man. But we saw Jokic get torn apart in his series with his rim protection.
Really?
Cat has been a much better defender at this playoff season than Jokic was.
Oh yeah.
So if you can just get at least solid defense from Cat, then you have the balance that you need there.
He consistently plays himself out of that conversation, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where it's like, come on, Cat, all the tools are there. Even, and I don't like to quote this guy a lot, but even Pat Bev says, yo, dude really got all the tools. And he wasn't the only person I've heard say that before. So it's kind of like,
oh yeah, he's the best shooting center ever, which is like that in and of itself makes him such a dynamic weapon. Like you needed solid defense. The fouls were a huge issue, and just consistency. And he's really fixed all of that. He's been averaging 8 assists on top of it. Just legitimately, like he could be, I'm not saying that he's going to be better than Jokic as a player, but he's absolutely in that. Has always had everything to be in that conversation of best centers, like center 2 right underneath Jokic, I'm sorry, or center 3 underneath Jokic and Wemby. He already is there, and he's probably easily solidified his place there.
And how foolish of me to not even mention Wemby name in that conversation, because
we just watched.
Yeah, well, because I was going to lead to that in some form or matter, but I'm also looking at, it's kind of weird that you brought up Jokic and we're talking about him in Carlton Towns, because it's almost as if Mike Brown was like, Hmm. Maybe I should implement you like they use Jokic and run the offense through you, where I can have you at the perimeter because you are a good shooter at the perimeter, where they have to, their opposite big guy has to come out. All
Yeah.
right. He has to come to at least to the top of the key. Like he got to come out there. So if I'm Cat, I can run the offense. Then, hey, that's when you can get Brunson to get off some of them. And like Brown knows this, get those screens and get those get Brunson moving. That's how you get him going. And dog, I'm like, he's kind of using him like Jokic.
Yeah.
He's kind of using him like Jokic.
Yes, exactly. I agree. I think that has been the strategy. Like, okay, if you're going to be an offense first center, let's use you the way like the best offense first center.
Well, that's the way the league's going to right now. Now, obviously, when we were growing up watching basketball, big men would never be at the top of the key, would never be at the 3-point range. And if they were setting screens and they was at least doing some pick and rolls and they were rolling towards the basket. They were not camping out at the 3. They were not camping at the top of the key. They weren't doing that. All right.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're in this type of basketball now, that like you see the Wemby's, the Jokic, the Cats, who are going to be out there, and they're going to be at the 3-point line. I just think, for me, Wemby's is probably the better of these 3 because he still has an inside presence, and on both ends of the court, where you already know that you go in there, he's affecting your shot. I can't remember what he did to the T-Wolves. What was that? A double-digit blocks or some shit early in the series. This man was literally just snatching everything out the damn air. So you get that problem, and then he's a problem on the block on the offensive side, which we'll kind of get into this and we talk about the game tonight. I love his down low game. I need him to kind of push that a little bit more and not get stuck settling for 3-point shots because he's not a knockdown shooter yet.
Right. He's a very good shooter, but like the size mismatch is obviously his biggest strength. Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that also in whoever we play, whether it's the Cavs or the Pistons, whether Cat is matched up against Jalen Duren or whether it's against Jared Allen, considering what he just did to Embiid, I like him in either of those matchups. Like either of those are tough centers to put him up against. But after what he did against Embiid, I like him in either of those matchups a lot more now. And also speaking of Embiid, man, Embiid, I at a certain point, and like, look, I know that we won anyway, so like it ultimately doesn't matter. But I'm sure we're going to talk a little bit, or maybe you already did, about the Jaylen Brown whole situation when he complained about Embiid's flopping and the refs not calling and like all of that stuff. He, at a certain point, like you're just not even playing basketball anymore, man. He has to be in some way reined in. Like the amount of egregious flops that he tried with the Knicks, and a lot of which he got away with, and for him to complain after I think it was game 3 and being like, oh well, the Knicks shot like 20 something free throws and we only shot 15. Like it's because refs know what you're doing now. Like you're not going to get all of those anymore because it's so egregious that it's obvious now. Like at a certain point, like how do you just let a player like that with no consequences just ruin your games?
Okay, so it's funny that you bring that up because now that's been the discourse around the whole basketball world the last week is flopping.
Yeah.
And I find it very odd because it's like flopping has been going on for so long. Now we're upset about flopping.
It's because of the fact that there's more rules, that means that there's more opportunities to do it. It's become more egregious since like Houston Rockets James Harden. It has gotten worse. I know everybody did it. Like Michael Jordan did it, Kobe did it. I know, but
I mean, flopping.
The more offensive friendly rules, it has become much easier. and more frequent even then than it was.
It just baffles me, like the conversation about flopping just intensified over the last few weeks, and I'm like, hold on, especially during this whole the Lakers Thunder series. That, and granted, I've always said this about SGA. Like, I get what he's trying to do because, hey, I'm going to force the ref to either blow the whistle or swallow it, make him do his job. It's part of a strategy, a weird strategy. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of it. Most people aren't. Some old basketball heads like myself are just not, because it's like you're manipulating the game, and I understand it, but it's part of a game. It's a strategy. I'm not going to bash SGA too crazy about it. It is what it is, because that style of basketball was just another blueprint for, like you said, James Harden was doing it. And that's another blueprint from when LeBron James was doing it. And that's what really tripped me out about some of those basketball fans was over there mad that HGA was doing all that in chat. And they like, how dare they? This I'm like, wait, hold on. Whoa. We gotta relax. Like, we got a guy that's been playing 23 years that's just crafted. And don't get me wrong, because I had this conversation with other people. I understand why LeBron did it, because referees tend to officiate physical freaks different.
Yes.
So I understood why LeBron did it. He had a reason for his flopping. Obviously, it was still ugly. It was still tacky. It was still whack. But he had a reason. So I will give him that grace. All right. SGA is kind of like, he's literally looking for it. And
yeah, so much of it, it's what makes it a lot of the time particularly egregious is you can see that they have no intention of actually making a shot. The entire play is just them waiting for a chance to fall over. And it's like, bro, like this just, it's like I hate to be like so much of an old head. It's just not basketball. You're not even trying to make a shot. You're trying to get free throws.
Just fail.
Like there has to be some sort of reining that in. Like it really does hurt the game. It rewards dirty playing.
Well, I swear they try to implement some rules like a couple of years ago.
They did.
Okay,
last off season. And
no,
have you ever seen it get called? Have you ever seen someone get called for flopping?
That's my point, Randy. I swear that there was supposed to be implementing discouraging flopping with technicals, and if you get so many, it obviously it counts to your technical counter. If you get too many, you got to sit down. Blase. I thought they were really going to take it serious, but we're back here at the same conversation a few years later, and it's like, did y'all really care about the flopping or not?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been an advocate before of loosening up a lot of the offense-friendly rules, allowing hand checking, more serious flopping penalties, just like rewinding the clock back to like 90s style rules.
I mean,
but I mean, I don't see that happening. But I think that, I mean, you see the way that people love the physical playoff basketball when the refs are on average a little looser. Like, just make that the rules. Like, the fans want that.
They do, but they're only going to let them officiate that only in the playoffs. They're not going to let them do that over the 82-game stretch. Obviously, I understand that because, I mean, you get a little bit physical over 82 games. Nobody's going to be lasting towards the playoffs. So
people are already getting injured more,
well,
which is another weird. And like, obviously, like there are a lot of factors that play into it. People did not get injured like to the same degree in like older, more physical basketball as they do now. Obviously, that's a correlation, not causation thing. But like, it is kind of funny. The game is as safe as it has ever been, and yet people are getting injured more often than ever.
Well, I've always been an advocate of toughen your body.
Yeah,
that's just. I might be old school. It is what it is. I even when I played, team sports growing up in middle school and high school, it was we had the 3-a-days in the hot ass summer for football. I'm used to that. Now they got all kind of shit where they don't let certain timed. You're scrunched down. Even in the NFL, you don't. It ain't that getting together, as a team, organized team organized situations where they got shit going on all year round with the new CBA that they got. And I get it. You got to protect the investment. It's still a business, but man, this is not looking good for the brand of basketball. It's just not. It's just not. But let's get to tonight's game. Obviously, the only standalone game. We got the Spurs and the Wolves. Before we get to the actual talk of let's make it quick. It was a beatdown. Wolves just didn't have enough, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I know they were probably an advocate of, hey, man, suspend that guy for that elbow. I see why. Because, hey, are we sure that SGA is the shoe-in for MVP? Are we sure?
I mean, who else is at that caliber that made the 65 game rule? I think Jokic is out for that. Giannis is certainly out. Plus, he doesn't have the wins anyway. How many games did Wemby play?
That's right. That's what I need to figure out. And I understand the numbers are not going to look. He played 64.
He played 64, so he's out.
Now hold on. We got to get my man. We was giving all them other parts to everybody else. Give my man that one game.
They're not going to do it. It's a hard and fast rule. So he's out. It's for one game. That is kind of crazy.
Weren't we just giving pardons to a couple of cats the other day, a few weeks ago? Well, who was it? K got his, and Luka got they.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they got they appealed and which like if you're gonna introduce appeals into this.
That's what I'm saying.
That kind of creates a whole problem, right? Because most of these players aren't load managing anymore because of the rule. So they're like legitimately getting hurt. So now there's like a commission that gets to decide if you're getting hurt counts.
That's
what metrics are they using for that? That sounds really subjective. Luka got injured the same like seriousness of injury that Wemby got. So why would Wemby's appeal not work then?
If you remember,
Kane had his own thing because of the collapsed lung, but is that worse than any other injury?
And that's
by these standards.
And that's the crazy thing. You're saying Cade get his appeal because his injury was respiratory and a collapsed lung, something he couldn't affect. That's what, from what I gathered, that's what they're saying. They're saying Luka had maternity leave, so he should be allowed to have his appeal. So I'm like, wait, hold on. I get what you're saying, but hold on. Then where's the line? Because Ant tried to get his appeal because he was only, I think, 3 or 4 games short. And so they denied his appeal. So I'm just like, well, where's the line?
Yeah, like
paternity
leave can't be that's appealable, but like a concussion or a torn hammy or whatever isn't. Like I don't understand that at all.
And those, I'm not sure. Again, I'm confused on the appeal.
That's why, like, it either needs to be a hard and fast rule or it needs to not be a rule. Like you just can't do this.
It can't be no gray area on this one. It's either 65, play 65 or don't.
Yeah, because like you can make the argument like, well, it's not their fault that they missed those games, but that's true of everybody unless they're purposefully load managing, and none of these guys were. So if the whole point is we don't really care why you missed the games, you missed too many games to be impactful enough to be an MVP. Okay, that's fine. I can follow that logic. But like if you start going into like fault, well then the rule can't exist anymore because it's none of their faults.
I don't know. I'm just over here trying to figure out where's the line. Anyway, but and if he was eligible, are we sure SGA is a shoe in MVP. I'm just saying because my man Wemby continues to do things that absolutely just boggle my mind. I saw a play tonight where the man was going for a putback and got pushed in the back, but because he has these stanking ass stretch Armstrong arms, gets the tip in on the N one, and my jaw just dropped to the ground because I'm like, I know we call this man an alien. What word do we use that describes something that's more freakish than an alien? I don't even know what the hell that word is, but that is Wemby. Alien, unicorn, freak. I get amazed every time I see this guy play.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a lot of fun watching him play. It always will be. I will say this also. I really hope that the finals ends up being Knicks and Spurs.
I can't stand
Bro, so are injuries. what do you mean? Injuries are an illegal thing. I really hope it ends up being Knicks Spurs, and for several reasons. For one, the Knicks beat the Spurs in the NBA Cup Finals. They ended their win streak that they were going on in the regular season, so we can beat them. But I think it's also more important because the narrative around Jalen Brunson specifically, who I think is absolutely an MVP caliber player, has been brought back up in the light of him now leading a team to an Eastern Conference Finals twice. Do you remember what the discourse was like when the Knicks first acquired him? Like, oh, he's a smaller guard. There are some straight up saying like Jalen Brunson could never lead a team to even the second rounds of the playoffs. Like Nick Wright, Stephen A. Smith, all of them. All of them. I would especially love if he were to be able to win the ring against the ultimate Goliath, the ultimate counter to his narrative of he's too small to win in the NBA. Give him the 7'4" alien and have him beat him. Nothing would be better than that.
Look, because I remember we had that conversation shortly after you guys retired Brunson, and if I remember correctly, I was more like, how did Dallas let him walk out the building, and how the hell did the Knicks get him from that cheap?
Right, which was opposite to the way that most people were talking about him. They were saying that it was an overpay, and I can understand the logic. He was a 2 there, right? So like I get people being like, well, we didn't see him be a 1, but the talent was clearly there.
But the body of work that he had put in those couple of years in Dallas before he had left, because it wasn't just that last year in Dallas that he was putting in work. He at least put in at least a solid good 2 years of consistent work that I was like, damn, he's kind of getting stunted by Luka being there, because like he can run a team, he can run an offense.
Right.
He was the point guard. He was the point shoot guard. And when he had to be on the floor with Luka, we knew who was getting the ball. So it was kind of stunting his growth. I thought he was a steal in Dallas, and more than likely, I thought like, why didn't Dallas try to make sure they keep him? Because even if you do keep him and have Luka still there, you have him run your second team offense, right? And you keep everything going, you keep everything flowing. You can give Luka his time on the bench, because I got a second team point guard that runs the offense just fine. Oh, he gets his too. So it's like when you get a guy that gets his and gets the team involved, I was like, okay, I was with that. I just didn't. I thought it was more like, damn, okay, well, you got Brunson. So at that point when y'all first acquired him, I'm like, well, what else? Because stature, physical wise, it's hard to say that you're going to have a guy his size lead you to a championship. It's just not
right. And but people had been saying, people said that about Isaiah Thomas. People said that about Steph Curry. People said that about Donovan Mitchell. Like, And
Yeah,
like Donovan Mitchell hasn't won a ring yet.
I was about to say I wasn't putting Donovan in that picture because my thing is,
But it's not his fault. I don't think it's his fault that they
I
have
hear
it.
you.
Yeah.
But we're also looking at Steph and Isaiah that also was part of a damn well put together team. So we also put into that context when you first acquired Jalen, that what you got right now wasn't the vision at that point in time because we needed to see the rest of it. That's why I was kind of more like, well, what else?
Right.
It needs to be something else that's going to be added to the Knicks for Jalen Brunson to succeed. Because yeah, he's good, but he staturally, physically, he can't hold the team by himself. So the moment that you guys got Cat, I'm like,
But
okay.
that's the thing, though. He can. He has. Before Mike Brown took control, Tibbs basically ran everything through him for years. And he won Clutch Player of the Year for that reason. He
That's
was
fair.
the entire offense for a couple of years. He showed that he could be basically the whole team when everybody else was having a cold night and he had to put on the Superman cape. He did it about as good as anybody in the NBA. And I know how sports media is. For lack of a better term, sports analysts are size queens. A lot, a lot of the time, they,
That's
they,
wild.
yeah. They love it's the measurables. That's what like Wemby was getting like, oh, he's gonna be the GOAT talks before he even walked in the NBA, before he had played a playoff game, before he had proven anything. And like, granted, it was warranted in his case, as it turns out, but uh, you see it with football too, like players that, and we'll talk about the draft. Someone like a Keldrick Falk, for instance, will get a first round pick just because of his measurables, even if he hasn't done anything to earn it. Meanwhile, like a quote unquote undersized player, they can play their ass off and be really good, but they'll be like, okay, but like he shouldn't be good because he's insert height or whatever. That's always what it is.
True.
And Brunson playing a 2 there. It's kind of similar to like the Isaiah Likely next to Mark Andrews thing, right? To like do another analogy is like, well, the limited production, how much of that is them, how much of that is opportunity. You can get them at a price, a much better price than they should actually be going for, just because they didn't have the opportunity to show out, but you saw the ability to do that there. And that was how we got Brunson for much cheaper than he should have been for.
Now, get the team around him and get that team locked up now before you got to get that max to Brunson.
Yeah.
I think he deserves it.
I think he deserves it. He took a pay cut for us to bring his friends on the team. Yeah, he absolutely deserves it.
That's my point, Randy. I don't think that discount's going to be around the second time around.
Right.
And that's why I think that puts a little bit of tad bit more pressure for the Knicks to win it now. Why you got OG? Why you got the rest of the squad? And everybody's pretty much for the most part are locked up.
Yeah.
Kim Bridges, OG, Cat.
And Cat and OG are both not cheap. So yeah, like once he takes his max, we're gonna have to have some uncomfortable conversations, and this hat really does have to be the year.
Unfortunately,
between the pathway with the teams that are out of it and all of that, like it has to be this year.
Here come the aprons. Here come the aprons because look, I'm not a full expert on the aprons when it comes to the CBA when it impartial when it comes to the NBA and that relationship and all that. But I do know this. That CBA and all the aprons that have been put in, they make it real hard to keep a lot of people getting paid a lot of money on the same team. It makes it real hard to do it. So there's going to be some tough conversations and going to be some maneuvering of that roster probably a lot sooner than later, depending if they can't get this situation taken care of and bringing that Larry O'Brien on. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Because shit gets real hard to do that. But man, I hate this for my man Ant-Man. I hate this. He's got to put on Superman cape, and he's trying, but it ain't gonna be enough. And I just think that the T Wolves, man, they're scrappy. They just ain't got a Wimby, man.
No,
They
it's
got a
true.
Wimby, dog.
Yeah, like you could, and like if you actually like go like player by player, you could argue. I don't think like in a crazy way that they might have the better roster of the two overall, but Wemby individually just makes it so hard. It's a perfect matchup against Gobert. Uh, yeah, no, I mean, it is unfortunate, and then also like with the injuries coming in and out of the series. Uh,
Because Gobert's trying his hardest against Wimby, but he brings nothing on the offensive side but second chance points, and you got to get him. You got to get the rebounds first because
Right.
there's Wimby there snatching rebounds too. So it's like,
yeah, with that crazy ass wingspan.
oh my gosh, dog! Like that's a cheat code, bro. He's literally a point guard in the 7'4" body, bro.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, like it is a shame because they really have been the darling of the playoffs, like the underdog darling. People really wanted to see them make it. Uh I don't think they're going to. I think it's definitely going to be OKC Spurs, which is going to be a phenomenal series. It's going to be a hell of a series to watch. Most real, because no offense to your Lakers, the OKC have not had a lot of competition on the way.
They had the Suns and the Lakers.
Yeah,
That and speaking of which, good segue right there. I'm just gonna say this. Obviously, you know me, and the people that watch this content, they know that I am not a big LeBron James fan. And it's been a real tug of war to have him on my team. It's been weird. He's been here almost 8-9 years now, probably his longest tenure. Been all the teams he's been on. It's crazy. Or I think it matches his first run with the Cavs. But regardless, he's been in LA for almost 10 years now. I know that's shocking, right? It's just crazy. He won't go down as probably the greatest Laker or all-time Laker. It's just too many guys in front of him that's just too beloved. I feel weird.
and who did more?
Well, yeah.
Lakers specifically.
Well, it's just when it comes to just Lakers fans and our fandom, like we like our guys. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, and no disrespect, because and even Will Chamberlain wasn't the original Laker, but he did something when he came to the Lakers, and like I don't see him passing up the logo. I don't see him passing up Kobe, Kareem, even Kareem started Shaq, even guys that had started their career somewhere else, but fully embraced over in Lakers culture, like Kareem, like Shaq.
Yeah,
because they won.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, you have the best Mount Rushmore maybe in sports. I mean, like a Magic, Kareem, Kobe, Shaq, Will, like Jerry West, like whatever four of those you pick, just for their Lakers tenure alone.
Honorable James Worthy, like
James Worthy, exactly right. Like Bob McAdoo.
Hey, dog, it's crazy because it's like, and I think that's always kind of been like a weird relationship with us and LeBron. It's kind of like I don't think we fully embraced him. So my thing is, obviously, he did bring a championship in the 8 years he's been here, but his next move, I'm at this point where the Lakers have kind of put him, I guess, put themselves in a corner that they got to keep him, because what's the other alternative? No LeBron on this team. What does that give us? Luka's great offensively, cool, but that man's a cone on defense. Austin Reeves is cool every now and then because that's how good he plays, is every now and then. And he's a cone on defense. Statistically, Bron was the third option this year. Statistically.
Yeah.
Weird to say that, but whatever he decides, I'm at this point in time as a basketball fan, he deserves whatever the hell he wants to do. If he wants to go back to Cleveland, let him and take his son with him. If he wants to go wherever else, find a way to make it happen. If he wants to stay in LA, open the doors for him. If he wants to retire, by all means. Because love or hate LeBron, I think there's a certain amount of he done so much for the game of NBA. For basketball, is kind of like he kind of earned it. Whatever the hell he wants to do.
Yeah, for sure.
And whatever money he's gonna get paid. Because I think we can make a case of what Cass is getting paid now and his value, what he can bring not only to your team, because he's still playing elite at 41.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's still very good. The question is, because my Knicks have been in the conversation. Also, like, not at the top of it, but they've been in it because every superstar, if they're planning on going somewhere, the Knicks are a conversation because it's New York, the market, all of that.
Market, always.
It just doesn't make sense for a team who's looking to do something with their team to trade for or even acquire a 40-year-old player who is possibly 1 year away from retirement. If you're just trying to sell tickets, I get it. I mean, like, for instance, I've been saying that I think the Warriors should trade Steph ASAP while he still has trade value. But they're right now looking like, well, Steph has done so much for us. Let him retire with us. Let us sell the jerseys and the tickets and all of that with him and Draymond. And I get all of that. If you're looking in that mold, I think maybe, and they probably can't afford to do it. I'm sure they can't afford to have every contract. If you're gonna do that anyway, you might as well be like, "Hey, LeBron, do you wanna have the coolest legacy act ever for a year, playing with your old rival? Like, we could, you don't have to leave the state that you live in now. We could sell a whole lot of tickets and jerseys, for like 1 year. Is that a good strategy? No. Is it a good strategy for making money for a year? Absolutely.
Absolutely. Because you'll get the return on investment. Again, he's still playing at an elite level. He still moves the needle when it comes to sales, ticket sales, jersey sales, popularity. He will still bring eyes to your franchise. Here's the crazy thing. Because that contract is expiring, he'll be a UFA going into the summer.
Right. Yeah.
Now,
so they don't have to trade for him. Yeah.
You wouldn't have to trade for him. You wouldn't have to give up no compensation. You wouldn't have to blow up your team to acquire him. The problem is you're going to pay him minimum 52.
Yeah. He's already top 5 paid. Steph Curry is the highest paid. So putting them next to each other, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's probably not realistic just financially, but it'd be cool.
And that's why I'm saying it makes sense to actually just have him if he wants to play and for him to go back to the Lakers, because they've always been the franchise to say, hey, we've always paid the stars regardless of the contention of the team. And to be honest, I know they struggled, had a couple playing appearances, can't get out the second round. They're still making the playoffs, still being slightly competitive, not overly competitive. Obviously, they're not in any standing to win a championship. I understand that as a Lakers fan, but it's kind of like, what's the alternative? No LeBron on the team leaves us with Luka, great offense in the cone on defense, and AR inconsistent offense in the cone on defense. Huh?
Yeah. Also, like, it'd be one thing if you could trade him and get like a core of talent around them to make up for those deficiencies, but you can't. He would just walk. So it's like you might as well keep him, I don't know, to mentor, sell tickets, whatever. To add, I mean, he's not the defender that he was at his age, but he's a better defender than either Luka or AR right now.
Oh, did we not see this whole series? They was going at AR.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're 15 at. All right, go get them. Go get your ISO. Go ahead.
Right, exactly. Like Aiton can't do all
oh,
of it by
oh,
himself.
oh my good. Oh my fucking gosh. Oh, I was doing so good till you brought up that motherfucker's name. Oh my fucking god! First of all, I was doing so good, I forgot all about this jerk off. This motherfucker got the nerves to go get the dominating with his name little placard in the chain, and then proceed to get swept later. That fool, read the room. Fool, read the room. DeAndre Ayton got to be the most unaware player in the NBA. You are just that unaware of how booty juice you are, and for you to go get that chain made, dominating what? What have you dominated? DeAndre Ayton, you have been a player that has continually can't stay on the team because cats have tired of trying to give you chances for you to actually dominate, and you just refuse to do it. You seem perfectly fine collecting checks and messing with Instagram models. That seems like your MO. And you seem perfectly fine with that. Cool. You can go to other leagues that can give you the money and you can still bag you an Instagram fraud. But I don't think NBA is for you, bro. You love the perks because I see you. I see you, big dog. You like the perks. That money is, hey, you got a hole in your pocket because you burning through that money, bro. But the change, you goofy ass mother. Oh my, hey, you talking about a waste of just physical abilities. I wish I can be put into that physical body that DeAndre Ayton had. I would be a fool. You talking about dominate? I don't need no chain to show you how I'm gonna dominate. I'm gonna go show you. But it's like this dude right here has just been like the most underwhelming potential that has ever been created by God. Bro. I would literally take Greg Oden on all them bad knees ever before I fuck with you, DeAndre Ayton, on my team. This dude is hey, get this dude off my squad.
I clearly touched a nerve.
Oh no, get this dude off my squad. Get DeAndre Ayton on my squad, please. You talking about waste of potential? Oh, look. I never made it to the NBA. I'm only 5'11". I was never gonna make it. All right. I ain't got the skills. Look, DeAndre Ayton, he made it to the league. I never get there. Congratulations. But we've seen players that are just enjoying the fact that they made it to the league and they enjoying the fruits and the monies and the perks. They ain't about to put in that work to actually. So I don't know how this dude keeps getting jobs. I think it's just because he is 7 foot. But this is crazy. Come on, man. Oh my goodness.
Speaking of dudes off of your squad,
Woo.
I also know that there's been a conversation around JJ Redick. Now, I know, and we've talked about this before, that head coaches are always like the witch that you burn to get the demons out of the city, right? They're always the first one that just takes the axe regardless of whether it's their fault or not.
They the sage that get burned.
Yeah. Do you obviously you know more about like I guess the intricacies of like his coaching? Do you think that JJ Redick is responsible? Because it doesn't look like it to me. You were against a historically dominant team. You shouldn't have even been there in the first place. You beat the Rockets without your two leading scorers, and you went into this series without your leading scorer. Do you blame JJ Redick for how this series went out?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think so either. But there is a talk about potentially getting rid of him.
So here's the crazy thing. We also got to look at the Lakers organization. They don't give coaches time. Go look at the track record over the last 10 years. Frank Vogel won a championship. He was gone in 2 years, less than 2 years. All right. Who else has got championship pedigree that has been in that chair and then they got bounced? Look, the Lakers just don't. Darvin Ham never missed the playoffs. He got 2 years. He was gone. JJ Redick hasn't missed the playoffs 2 years. If he gets clipped, I won't be surprised, but it's not his fault. We got to look at the construction of the team. Again, I'm not the big LeBron fan, but the fact that you have put him on the team and you pay him this money, it's going to make it hard for you to get some other talent in there when he's 41 making $52 million. It's just going to make it hard. And say what you want, Lakers fan, I'm not sold on Austin Reeves. I'm not. And I get it. He had that cute little game. He dropped like 50 plus. Hey, man. Hey, Bam Adebayo scored 83, man. Ain't think of motherfucking having in the NBA, bro. I'm not falling for that shit, bro. I'm not sold on Austin Reeves. Then Luka, here's the benefit that needs to happen why you need to still keep LeBron. You still need some maturation process for Luka. Who better than to learn that from? Who better than to learn how to mature as a superstar in the league pressure than LeBron? Luka got to mature, all right? He still got some maturation that needs to go on with himself. And JJ Redick, low key, has actually been. I was a skeptic at first when I said, "Wait, did y'all just hire my man's podcast brother?"
Yeah, I know. I was too.
Huh? But the IQ of JJ can't be denied. He's always had it. He's always had it back to Duke.
He knows ball for sure.
He knows ball, and so I just needed him to show it to me because look at that roster. He's getting a little bit more out of that roster than most coaches can get.
Yeah.
I mean, Ruri had some solid games in that on the series. And I'm not looking for Ruri to be. No.
I've always liked Rui Hachimura. Every time I've watched the Lakers, he has always caught my eye as playing above what you would expect out of his name.
And Randy,
like obviously, like you've watched him more than I have.
Yeah.
But I've always kind of gravitated towards him. It's just like, damn, like he's low key underrated.
Go down that roster. Look at it. Pull it up. Everybody, pull up that damn roster. Go find me a coach that would have done what JJ Redick has done, Darvin Ham has done. The Lakers have not missed the playoffs in the last 5 years.
Now you could also, to my point about the Rockets, because like I said, they shouldn't have been in that situation in the first place without Luka and AR. But you could also easily argue that was more of a Rockets problem than a Lakers overachievement, because KD kept going out of the lineup.
That's fair,
and he was their entire shooting and the drama around them, like they were a whole mess because that's what KD does. And and Şengün ain't it to me. You could argue like they were that was a lot of them underachieving, but even still, like with those injuries, like it still is pretty impressive that JJ Redick even got to OKC.
There is some underachievement from the Houston Rockets, but there's also overachievement than what LeBron did in that series.
Yeah. Oh, he turned the clock back.
There was some overachievement what he did in that series. So he knew he was down his top two scorers. So it's like, oh shit, let me turn back the hands of time. Let me show y'all what I do. King shit. And that's the crazy thing about like right now, me giving this guy some praises because I've never been a LeBron fan, but because of the fact that this might be his last year, and I don't care how you feel about the guy, the league is going to miss this guy the moment he hangs his motherfucking shoes up.
Yeah. Fans are going to pretend that they were fans of his the whole time instead of talking shit about him.
Hey, that's why,
forever.
Randy, that's why I'm setting the record straight right now. I ain't never been a big fan of LeBron, but I am not that much of a hater to not recognize what his impact to the NBA and the game of basketball has been for the last 23 years. I'm not. I can have the jokes and all the times he got swept and you not the GOAT and blah blah blah. I understand all those feelings, and we are all, have our own right to have them. But at the end of the day, I think you are foolish to just try to dismiss the impact that this man has done, not only for the game of basketball, NBA, but we're talking about pop culture. He's a cultural icon. Like, we can't. All right, guys, you can't be that much of a hater.
Right, exactly. Like, he's at lowest a top 5 player ever, and like just getting to watch that for over 20 years,
man,
it legitimately is special.
We didn't see his whole career, bro. His whole career. I mean, even in high school, they was putting his ass on the ESPN damn near every Friday. So it's like we didn't see this man's whole career.
Yeah, and he's had such a story of a career, right? He had his, for lack of a better term, babyface run in the first run in Cleveland, where he was this insane Marvel carrying a bunch of bums who are currently selling cars. And then he had his heel turn to go to Miami.
That's crazy. The heel turn is crazy.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, that was the big point where everyone turned on him, and we had he literally had like a John Cena like career. He had a babyface run.
Oh, that's crazy.
He had a heel turn. Or like Hulk Hogan might even be better. Maybe that's like the NWO.
NWO.
He had his Scott Hall and Kevin Nash in D Wade and Chris Nash. And then the Dirk Nowitzki was Sting, and he got one over on him.
That's wild. If you're not a wrestling fan, those references probably didn't make you laugh, but that fucking sucks for you. That was hilarious.
Yeah, no, he had just an incredible career. And then he goes back to Cleveland. He wins a ring. Was one of the best finals performances ever, maybe the best ever. His rivalry with Golden State, and then he goes to the greatest basketball franchise, wins a ring there. Yeah, it's just an incredible career. Like, I'm still of the position, and apparently Michael Jordan doesn't give a shit about it, so maybe we should all stop giving a shit. But I've never been of the position that I think LeBron is the GOAT. But he is a lot of people's GOAT. And there's a legitimate enough case for him being the GOAT that you can't argue that we're not losing something out of basketball when he walks away from it.
Absolutely. You know who's really going to suffer? You fucking Nimrods on these big networks. What the fuck are y'all going to talk about, dude?
Bro, for real. For real.
Because I'm going to be honest with you.
Skip Bayless is going to do.
I'm going to be honest with you, Randy. I could probably count on my hand the number of times I've actually had like true LeBron segments on my podcast. Because I think he's such a watered down topic. And he's a low-hanging fruit to get views and people to get traction to you. I don't like to dedicate a lot of time to LeBron. I just think it's beating a dead horse. So
yeah,
like I can count clearly how many times I've talked like a true segment. We're having this segment is because this could be potentially, that was probably could be his last game. Like, and whatever move he decides to do, whether he wants to retire, come back to LA, go somewhere else, he's well in his right to do whatever the hell he decides to do. Because I think he earned it. Point blank period. So
for sure. There's another group of people that are going to lose. Have you ever tried to talk to a LeBron hater, like an old school basketball fan? Those people, I have no idea what they're going to do. That man lives in so many people's heads rent free. If you try to talk about basketball at all, they'll be like, "Oh, by the way, I hate LeBron." Like it's just a mental, like a tumor, like that's just like popping on in their head. I don't even know what they're going to talk about now. they just may not say anything ever again. Like that was their whole lives for a while.
Hey, that's my point. What are these fools going to talk about next? But one more basketball topic I wanted to talk about before we get a quick recap on the draft. I know the draft has been a few weeks, but me and Randy haven't been on since then, and I want to give him an opportunity to talk a little draft. But before we do that, here's one thing I don't know I'm too sure about, bro. NCAA just improved taking the tournament to 76 teams, both for the men and the women, starting in 2027. Jay Williams, former Duke Blue Devil College great. Hey, this is what he had to say.
What do you think of the decision?
Like I told you before, this is about the power conferences getting more mediocre teams in. And look, tournament expansion, we always felt was inevitable. It's about money, but also how do you keep the power conferences happy, right? Because I do think we're inevitably headed towards a scenario similar to the CFP, where eventually the conferences are going to own all the power. They're going to say, why do we need the NCAA anymore if we can actually own all that revenue for ourselves, Greeny? That is bound to happen when this deal comes up sooner or later.
So look, I always look at these things as there are two reasons why things get changed. One is to make them better. I haven't heard anyone suggest the NCAA tournament has any problem the way it is right now. This doesn't necessarily make it better. It might not make it worse, but it certainly doesn't make it better. So the other reason that you change it is because there's money involved. And so there just has to be more TV money, more. Yes. And to your point, more money for the big conferences, which is obviously a priority for the reasons you described.
So all the shows that we have, when we go through all the scenarios about here are the first four teams out, we sit over and we debate it over and over about the mediocrity of these teams. Now we're going to let those first four teams in and the next four in. Right. We're just letting more mediocrity in the tournament. Like I said before, everybody gets a trophy. It really is 2026.
It devalues the regular season to a degree. It takes, if you're asking my opinion on it, I hate it. And I didn't like it when they expanded it the first time. There was something absolutely perfect about the NCAA tournament. Now I will acknowledge the first four now doesn't bother me. I'm not sitting there watching those games thinking, oh boy, I really wish this wasn't going on. And I'm sure we'll feel that way when these games are being played next year or whenever it is that this takes effect. But as a general rule, I do not think this needed expansion.
This is just more marketing collateral that they'll keep trying to sell you on in media rights. And it's fine, right? Because there's always excitement leading into the tournament. But at the end of the day, you're not watching a good product. And that's the point.
Yeah, I mean that at the end of the day, that isn't the point. Yes, right? That's not why the decision is being made.
So, Randy, a lot of points that Jay and Greeny brought up, and I agree with a lot of them. My thing is, I'm also looking at the landscape of college basketball. It's also starting to look like college football, NIL, parity. Not all your 5 stars, 4 stars are going to your blue bloods no more. Which, in turn, you kind of see teams like Kentucky and Carolina kind of laundering in the basketball world, where normally they were the team. Duke's managed to kind of keep themselves relevant. Maybe Carolina might need to take a little page out of their rival down the road, Tobacco Road, and mimic what they're doing. But I'm looking at expanding the college tournament because of teams like Carolina and Kentucky, who are the Blue Buds, who are kind of on their downside. And it kind of looks like, let's expand it so we give these Blue Bloods every opportunity to make sure they get in the tournament. I was kind of looking at that first before all those other points that they brought up. Because if I'm Kentucky, I'm Carolina, we still bring in some recruits off the cachet of our name. But with NIL and transfer portal and the parity that comes with the talent can easily be dispersed. We're brought down to a certain level where it's more competitive for us. We're not the top dogs no more. And I need to get in the tournament because we're synonymous with being success. We're synonymous with being some of the people that are going to be one of the better teams in the tournament. Oh, and no worry, NCAA, we're going to help bring the money because we're a blue blood. We got the following. They're going to come to every last tournament game. They're going to sell out every last tournament game. They're going to fill up those hotels, help bring some revenue to that city. Wherever you got the Final Four at, we're selling that month out because we bring the following as a blue blood. This is what screams that to me is, hey, let's give our blue bloods every last opportunity to get in the tournament because we love the money they help bring. That's what I kind of saw that when they expanded to 76, because Carolina's been kind of scratching on the way, at the bottom of some of those teams. As should they get in? Should they not? Because they not sitting at being a 1 or 2 seeds on a consistent basis like they used to. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when they start getting to some of those upper seeds, you're like, oh shit, Carolina looking, Kentucky looking kind of. Oh, they ain't a 1 seed or 2 seed. Oh, because they not popping like that like they used to. That playing field got leveled, baby. And so when I see this expansion, that tells me the NCAA will do all that they can to make sure that, hey, I know we're trying to revolutionize the game, but let's have this little piece of tradition. I need my blue bloods in this motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, I see that too. I guess my question is that a bad thing? I don't necessarily know if I necessarily see a huge downside to it. First of all, you get more teams in it, so we as fans get more basketball. You get the fandoms of those schools, like you said, like the fandoms of Carolina and Kentucky, still following the tournament, even if their team otherwise would have been out with the lesser teams. Yeah. Upsets do happen, especially with schools like that are barely making it, but like have those blue blood, legacies, coaching, whatever. I don't know if I necessarily see a huge downside. Like, you're getting more basketball. I don't understand. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have no reason to feel mad at this.
Okay, well, I'm also kind of looking at it this way. I've been having a hard time following the men's tournament than the women's tournament. And, obviously without Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark not even being there there's still been some great talented women that still have managed to, keep me hooked to what they got going on in the women's tournament. The thing that's been killing me with the men's tournament is, where are the stars? I'm not talking about obviously every year somebody has to be the star because somebody has to be the best of the best. Yeah. No. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the dudes. I'm talking about the Dick Vitale diaper dandies. Where the dogs at? What I loved about the NCAA tournament growing up is I get the chance to see some stars on different types of coast that I didn't get a chance to really see. There might be some dogs on the East Coast that I haven't really got a chance to see. Some dogs down south, I really had a chance to see. Some dogs out west, I really had the chance to see. But now I get to get them on the big stage of the tournament. And not only do I get to see them, I get to see them in a pressure pack moment. So it gives me an idea of what I'm going to look for these guys when they get to the pros. And they handle it. I'm not, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't feel like we got the dogs in the men's tournament like we used to. That guy's must-see TV. I can't wait to see what he does. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say as someone who, doesn't follow college basketball all that strongly. I know that this past season has pushed a lot of big names, because I know this draft is really highly talked about. But it's hard for me to say that I knew these people before they started getting talked about in the draft. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree. Obviously there's you get your really good players at points, but there isn't a lot of buzz around anybody specific unless you're already very invested in college basketball. Like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, for instance, were big, even if you weren't a big college basketball person. Like you just knew those names. There really isn't anybody like that right now. That'll just come with. I mean, maybe if you could argue this is even another good reason for the expansion is it gives room for more people to show up and become that person.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think the more you expand it is like, then where do you set the line? Because now there was already talk of expansion years ago. Oh, these guys, we don't got enough teams. Somebody got left out. All right, let's expand it. Oh, somebody got left out. Let's expand it. Oh, somebody got. Where's the line? I'm almost at this point where it's like, yo, just every D1 school, we just gonna put them all in and just fight it all out. Shit, hell, Royal Rumble this shit. No, because like, where's the line at? And because it's like, I think one thing that they did say, I think it does start to diminish in the regular season or the importance of it, because it's kind of like, do you, now that you keep expanding it, do you keep that mentality? Let's just use the regular season, kind of tweak everything, see what we got, see who we are. You know, all we got to do is turn it up in a tournament time. You know, conference tournament, let's turn it up, get our automatic bid, or you know, let's take a chance and see if the committee has the audacity to try to leave us out. There's no way. Look at all these studs I got. They're not going to leave us all, you know. But you got a mediocre record. So it's like, that's why I'm like, are we going to water down the content? Are we going to water down the product? Are we actually putting in our best in the tournament? That's the only thing I'm worried about. Because when I start seeing seeds at damn scratching 500, below 500, barely if we start seeing a whole bunch of NFC South bullshit going on in the tournament, I'm going to have an issue.
Yeah, I get it.
That's all.
Speaking of the NFC South.
Yeah, speaking of the NFC South. I wanted to definitely let you have your take on anything draft worthy, because again, we haven't been on since the draft has occurred. But hey, floor is yours. You can talk about one pick that you love, one pick that you hate. But before you answer that, Randy, I know me and you are probably of the minority that loved the Ty Simpson pick. And I loved it because I've seen a guy in Kansas City that sat for a year and learned from a very good quarterback in Alex Smith. And by the way, if y'all check Alex Smith numbers, he did pretty damn good in Kansas City with Andy Reid. Was he Super Bowl caliber? No, because we didn't win it. Was he MVP caliber? No. But he was a damn solid, damn good bridge quarterback from him to Patrick. And the time he had as a starter in Kansas City, put up solid numbers. Just saying. But he get to sit for a year. I don't mind them doing it, because if I'm the Rams, I lose my secondary, but then I gain it because I get Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson in Kansas City. I feel like I've done enough in the free agency to solidify and keep my status of where we were just a few plays away from going to the Super Bowl. Here's why I'm pro loving the pick and getting Ty Simpson. Because if you feel that his talent, the 1 year he had in Alabama, and put context to it, he was banged up for the majority of that season, and still the talent was there. And I feel that a year of him learning from Matthew Stafford will advance him and prepare him in anything that's about to come out of the draft next year. I also feel that the Rams are saying, hey, I'm gotta kind of look for my heir apparent, because we can't act like my man Matthew Stafford didn't come into this past season with a bad back. All right. And there was at points where they didn't know if he was going to be ready for week won with his back. All right. And Father Time starting to knock at his door. All I'm saying is if my man is struggling to get ready for the season last year because of the back, he's getting older. You know what that tells me? He's probably one hit away on that back from really being out. So why not get prepared for not only my future by him learning, but just in case I gotta break the glass on a just emergency quarterback case, I'm still a little bit comfortable sticking Ty Simpson in there and Stinson Bennett or whoever the hell else they got at quarterback position. I loved it. I know people hated it. They say, oh, it's the reach at 13. Well, we can't forget there was a whole run of quarterbacks over the last 2 years that got drafted in the first round that didn't have no business being in the first round. So quarterbacks are always going to be of a position of need.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. I thought it made perfect sense.
Yeah, so I was a big defender of it. It was one of my favorite picks of the draft. And it makes the big criticism has been like, well, the Rams are a win now team. There's somebody you could have added to the team that would have helped you win a Super Bowl now. Okay. Mm-hmm. What were their other options? Their other options were realistic options. Mekhi Lemon to be a wide receiver 3. Kenyon Sadiq to be yet another tight end on that roster I've seen floated around. Blake Miller to add another body to the right tackle room after their right tackle retired, although their backup apparently the Rams fans are pretty happy with. So you could have added depth to any of those position rooms with your first round pick, or you could make sure that you're not in the position that the Steelers are in, getting bullied by old man Rodgers.
Yeah.
The fact that the Rams are a Super Bowl team now means that they're not going to be in a position to pick this high next year. Exactly. They're not going to, unless Matt Stafford gets injured very early in the season and like they have like a horrible season as a result of it or something like that. But they don't expect to. I mean, this pick wasn't even theirs. This pick was from the Falcons, and they got lucky to get it. So you have to, like, you don't really have a choice. I think Ty Simpson is a good quarterback. I think that like you said, it adds if you can add context to the fact that he was banged up through the second half of the season. He looked great to the point where he was competing with Mendoza and Dante Moore through the first half. He had a really good combine. I think you have choice.
We was already talking Knicks basketball and everything, bro.
Yeah.
You missed it all, dog. You missed it.
Go on YouTube. Click the live rewind. Start from the beginning.
Hey, shout out to my man Kofi Weeson. He's a fellow Knickerbocker. He loves his Knicks too. So
we talk all about him. I talk all about him.
Hey, he feeling all great. Hey, rewind it, Kofi. Go back to the beginning because I even let my man Randy come in popping this shit about the Knicks.
So
go ahead.
I don't get how they're comparing it to Jordan Love as if it's a negative thing when we know now in hindsight that it worked.
It worked.
This was their chance to get a quarterback to follow Stafford. He's going to be learning behind Matt Stafford.
Yes.
Off an MVP season. He's going to be with Sean McVay.
How's that a bad thing?
He's going to have Puka and Devontae Adams to throw to.
How's that a bad thing? Hey,
I think that they should have. Yeah, right. I would have, if I was the Rams, I maybe would have taken a wide receiver instead of a tight end in the second round to kind of make up for it. They got CJ Daniels. We'll see how he ends up being. But no, the Ty Simpson pick was the correct pick. It was the obvious correct pick. Getting a depth player to an already completed roster was not more important than this. It just wasn't. So I loved the pick. Some other picks that I loved. Ruben Bain at 15. An insane steal for the Buccaneers, who had a phenomenal draft in their own right. They got Keontae Scott on day 3, who a lot of people thought was going to be like a second to early third round pick.
He's going to be in the corner.
Yeah. Ted Hurst, they got him at a really good position.
I love Ted Hurst.
Yeah, no, they had an awesome draft, so I loved that. Keith Abney was
Oh my
my steal of the draft in
He
the
goes to
5th
Detroit.
round.
Wait, I thought he went to Detroit.
Yeah, he did in the
Okay.
5th round. Yeah, no,
Awesome.
I'm just talking picks in general. Yeah, he went to Detroit, 5th round.
I love Keith.
Should have been a 2nd round player. Absolutely baffling, but he's the steal of the draft to me, like incredible value there.
Very needed in Detroit, especially with their secondary situation that they had.
Yeah,
Very needed.
Yeah, for sure. I loved the Giants draft, of course. I know that there's some controversy that we didn't take Caleb Downs. I am happy we didn't. Arvell Reese, who by the way is a linebacker, he's not going to be an edge player. He was almost exclusively a linebacker for the vast majority of his career. He gives edge upside and edge depth, especially when we trade Kayvon Thibodeau. But he is going to be playing next to Tremaine Edmonds. Harbaugh has already said so. So you get an elite linebacker duo right there. Micah McFadden adds depth to that, depending on whether we keep him after the season or not after his 1 year prove it. You get that, and then you get like him to blitz and NASCAR packages with him. Love that. And then Francis Mauigoa filling our guard need, and then potentially a long-term tackle if Illuminor retires or declines or whatever after his contract. So love those picks. Malachi Fields, big body wide receiver in the 3rd round. Love that. Colton Hood, love that. We got a D tackle. It's a big need, but we got DJ Reader in the offseason later on to fill that hole up.
Yeah, I saw that.
Jack Kelly, like him, like just phenomenal draft from the Giants. I'm definitely forgetting somebody.
Look, love Malachi Fields.
Yes,
I was a big fan of Malachi Fields. My man may not be the fastest, but I think he's 6'4", like 220, something like that. But the guy he'll route you up for the size that he's at. Love his route skills.
Yeah, and a contested catch monster with that
That's what I'm
size.
saying. When it comes to that contested catches, he's coming down with the football 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Again, definitely a different contrast to Malik Neighbors. So Malik Neighbors is going to be the more speedy guy.
Yeah.
But I kind of compared Malachi Fields to a taller Anquan Bolden.
Yes.
And that's not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing at all. JC Davis was the one I forgot. So more online depth, cannot be bad at that. Can play tackle or guard. Hell yeah. Absolutely. And another steal who should have gone higher. So love the Giants draft. I'm absolutely thrilled with it. I thought the Browns had a fantastic draft again. I expect all those guys to be contributors. The fact that they traded with y'all, and we'll talk about the Chiefs draft too, trading down with y'all and still getting their choice at offensive line. Hell yeah to that. Got great receivers. Got Emmanuel McNeil Warren at a steal. I thought they had on an awesome draft. The Colts and the Falcons both got 1st round caliber talent without even having a 1st round pick. I love the Avion Terrell pick. Putting him next to his brother, getting someone who should have gone in the 1st round and who only didn't because he ran a 40 time with a hurt hammy. And everybody thought that he was slow. I'm sure he's not going to be. He never was on film. So putting him next to AJ Terrell, fantastic value there. And then they got Zachariah Branch later. So I really like that for them. Some bad picks. Those are like my favorite picks. Some bad picks. Cardinals taking Jeremiah Love. Thank you, Arizona. Thank you for saving me from having to have this conversation about my team. You don't have a quarterback. You don't have an offensive line. You don't have a right tackle. You need a right tackle. You need edge. And you take a running back to put behind your bad offensive line next to your bad quarterback. And
Oh man,
you make him the running back with the most guaranteed money in the NFL off the bat with nobody to block for him.
Well,
I hate that for them so much.
look, I'm just gonna say this. The best way to help out a trash online is to run the ball. And he's a damn good running back. He is.
He is. No, he is. It's just the situation. I mean, we saw it with the Raiders. They got Ashton Genty, who's also a damn good running back.
Yeah.
But behind a bad offensive line with a bad quarterback next to him.
Hey,
just put the defenders in the box. That's what's going to happen.
But I think the thing that's really killing them right now is Jacoby Brissett is overplaying his hand, in my opinion. Because we know what you are, Jacoby. You asking for 20 million, 20 plus. Man, if you don't shut your ass down and take this, we'll bump you up to 10. All right, enjoy this 8 that you already got. But we'll bump you up to 10. All right. We know what you are, bro.
Right.
Like, just because you're the best option on what you got on the team doesn't mean that you are worthy of the actual pay scale, bro. Like, don't overplay your hand. Because I think that's why they end up drafting a quarterback, and then that's why they brought in Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, and that was another kind of baffling move. I think they were correct to take a quarterback at some point, but they didn't need to take him that high. And Carson Beck, of all the quarterbacks that were available, I don't really get why him.
I can't explain that. All right. I got nothing for you on that one. All right.
Like, take a quarterback. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
You should take a swing.
Him?
Yeah. Him, and also in the 3rd round when I think he was he was the next quarterback to be taken after Ty.
Look, I just put it to you this way. Chiefs drafted Garrett Nussmeier in the 7th round. And by all accounts, there was people that say Garrett Nussmeier, had he been healthy, played a little bit more consistent, had at least 2nd or 3rd round talent. Mm-hmm. So, people have seen Carson Beck. Who wins a national championship and the team says, we're good? Who? Oh, Carson Beck. Yeah. I mean, say what you want, but if you are that coveted, loved, talented, and we just won a national championship, I'm not saying if you want to leave, I mean, by all means. Huh?
Yeah.
That's enough for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't really get that one. And then on top of it, like I said, their biggest need was right tackle. They didn't take a single tackle in that whole draft. So I hate that for the Cardinals. Like, top to bottom, Randy, to me, that's a mess.
We are talking about the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
Who are not known for being the most smartest, business-minded, football-minded for sure, organization.
Yeah. Then that's the thing. So that is, Love was probably my second least favorite pick of it. It's my second least favorite pick of the 1st round, potentially. My least favorite was his backup was also taken in the 1st round.
It was 32nd to the Seahawks. Man.
They gutted their secondary in the offseason. They did not do a good job of replacing people. They lost Tariq Woolen. They lost Kobe Bryant. And they had a lot of really good corners still there. They also had Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. They also have an edge need, especially when DeMarcus Lawrence retires. They could have added Cassius Howell. They could have added Zion Young. They could have added,
Young was sitting there. R. Mason Thomas was sitting there.
yeah.
There's other pass rushers that.
Gabe Yakis was there. Like, whoever you like, whoever you think is the best fit, there were edges there, corners there, safeties there. You take a backup running back, you could have gotten Mike Washington in day 3 if you wanted. I don't even particularly like Mike Washington, but like like, outside of Jeremiah Love, these were all flyer running backs. Jadarian Price was a backup in college. Like, and I get, because we just had the conversation with, like, you know, Jalen Brunson, Isaiah Likely, whatever. It's just like, well, you can be a 2 and then have the talent to be a 1, just not have the opportunity. And like they're saying that about Price. Like, okay, whatever. It's the running back position.
Yeah.
And you had more important needs than him. Like, it just was not worth it. You could have taken a guard. They also needed a guard. Like, Chase Basantis and Emmanuel Pregon were both sitting there too. Any of those would have made more sense.
Hey.
So I hated that for them. And then Bud Clark, with the next pick, was, you know, a good-looking safety. AJ Halsey was, by most accounts, the best safety on the board, and they passed up on him to take Bud Clark. Maybe that's just more of a scheme fit thing. But I don't think the Seahawks had a particularly good draft either. I really like Bo Stevens for them at the end. Julian Neal looks like he might be good. You know, the big body corner, good run defender. You know, there were some later picks that were okay, but like I did not like either of those at the top. There were a couple of the Jaguars. What the hell were they doing throughout this whole draft? Nate Borkature was their first pick. Nate Borkature, and then there was Albert Regis. Like, I had to check a lot of these people's names. I don't know. Tony Khan's dad clearly does the same stuff that he does, because that just absolute wild. Aside from Emmanuel Pregnon, which they really did pick way later than he should have been taken. I'm not sure why he slid that far. There must be something I don't know, I guess. Because the Chargers passed on him twice, and that was very baffling.
You spit out my great pop.
Yeah, but like aside from Pregnon, they had an absolute mess of a draft. 49ers, aside from Romello Height, who I really did like, outside of that, also a mess of a draft. The Bears, I did not like them taking a tight end as high as they took him, not taking edge, only taking defensive tackle in the 7th round when those were their biggest needs. A tight end that can't catch the football when they already have a loaded tight end room right now.
Yeah,
didn't make a lot of sense to me.
Either that, they might move off of Cole Kmet.
Yeah, but like, then take a tight end next year. Like, you need an edge now, and there were some legit edges on the board still. Romello Height was taken immediately after. He may not have been a scheme fit for them. They may not have loved the size and all of that, but like,
well,
there were edges they could have taken at that point.
See, and here's the crazy thing, because the NFL has pretty much adopted a lot of the NBA mindset towards the trade deadline now, where they're more apt to make deals now. There are more trades than ever has been going on in the last couple of years. Because when I was growing up, man, trade deadline was pretty much a joke. Nothing really happened around the trade deadline. Like, cats wouldn't trade with each other. Now cats is like, this guy he's been with us for a couple of years. He's not working around in our scheme. He might fit y'all, but that guy that's not working in your scheme can definitely fit in ours. Let's make a trade. Or some of these teams, I wouldn't be surprised towards trade deadline, they make a lot of more moves, like a Cole Kmet could probably be on the block, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of teams that want to get as much draft capital for next year's draft. And some of these teams, they might be like, all right, man, here, take that 3rd. Or, all right, man, here's that 2nd.
Yeah.
Because we got to see what when this Philly Patriots situation go down, if it goes down how it was pillow talked, and maybe Eagles give up on some of these picks in next year's draft, or vice versa. I'm sorry, New England gives up some of these picks in next year's draft. So, I mean, we'll play it by ear. But I understand what you mean. What you mean when there's a lot of pieces that need to get taken care of.
Yeah. Now, I did want to talk about two things regarding the Chiefs draft, because we talked about it a little bit online, and I wanted to know what you thought about both of these. So the first one, I know that the Chiefs like Jalen Moore. And they're paying Jalen Moore a lot. Chiefs fans seem to really like him. They seem to feel comfortable with that. But after losing Jawan Taylor, do you not think the Chiefs should have drafted a right tackle at all? Like, not just in the first round, but like at all. Just as depth, just as an alternative.
I think what the message they're saying is they feel comfortable with the depth that they already had.
Okay. Just because Moore was a career backup before this, they're very confident.
Right. So Jalen Moore was already making damn near 17, 18, I think, and his cap hit this year might be 20. It was only a 2-year deal. So this is the second going into this one. So he was getting, I think, like 17, 18 last year, and then he might get 20 this year.
Okay.
The consensus was that he was going to take over for left tackle.
Left tackle. So Josh Simmons was going to move to the right?
No, it was supposed to be Kingsley Suamataia.
Okay.
Because he got drafted in the second round the year before.
Right.
Kingsley started the first few games last year, got exposed, and it's like, nope. This is because when they signed Jalen Moore, he was a swing tackle. He could play left or right. Yeah. So if Jawan Taylor was struggling, they was gonna move him to the right. If Kingsley was gonna struggle, they gonna move him to the left. And so eventually it's just somehow, I can't remember if he got hurt or something, and because that's how Tooney ended up going to left tackle during that playoff run and got demolished by Philly in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
because he's a guard.
Which is another, I guess, reason why I was surprised that they didn't take a tackle, just because that has haunted their two big Super Bowl losses.
Yes, is not having the bookends. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, Jalen Moore got signed the year after we got this. Yeah, so this was his first year. Okay. Yeah, I'm tripping. So this was his first year. This past season. I got my seasons all backed up, all jacked up. So Jalen Moore was there, and he did get hurt this year because Josh Simmons got hurt because we drafted him. He fell to us last year at 29. Who, by the way, he's going to be the left tackle for the future. So he said Kingsley Suamataia, who got drafted 2 years ago, struggled, and they moved him to guard this year. It's his first year playing guard. He struggled at first, but he got it together, and he's going to be nice. So I'm comfortable with him at left guard. Okay. Obviously, Creed at center don't need to be spoken. I'm cool with that. All right. Right guard, Trey Smith, the highest paid right guard in the game.
Yeah.
And deservedly so. He's played pretty damn good. I'm set with him. So with Jalen Moore can actually play in the right side, I'm fine with him because we're paying him $20 million.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And Issa Pole, who did play last year as an undrafted free agent, loved if he could have stayed on to the team, but the numbers game got in the way. He got cut at the training camp. He got picked up by the Jets. Obviously, we know how the Jets don't know how to run a damn organized football team. They release him. He comes back and end up starting some games for us because Cats got hurt last year. And that was pretty much really the difference between why the Chiefs were not looking the same on offense. That offensive line was just it was beat up.
Yeah.
And Patrick could only do so much, and then I think the weight ended up getting to his knee. So if we're looking at a full healthy Chiefs offensive line, we're probably looking at one of the better offensive lines. I will put it up against any offensive line in the division in the AFC West for sure.
Really? Okay. Over the Broncos?
Oh yeah, and I know that's a lot to say because if you look at the Chargers, I'm not sure about the interior. Obviously, a healthy Rashawn Slater and a healthy Alt, that's something to really talk about. Broncos, they got Garrett Bowles. I get it. He's
He was the best left tackle in football last year.
I hear that, but I've also
Miners.
I've seen Garrett Bowles get exposed by even old man Khalil Mack, and I get it. That's still Khalil Mack, but like old man and Khalil Mack still giving them that work. And I look, because I see the guy twice a year, and I'm not crazy about the guys, but he does his job. But I will say this, and obviously the Raiders, they just now started addressing their O-line, so they wouldn't compare at all.
Yeah, of course. They also didn't draft a right tackle, which was kind of baffling to me. They took Trey Zune, who has some tackle experience, but has mostly been a center, which is weird when you just set the center market. I would have taken like a full-time tackle at some point. Good luck, Fernando.
No, for real. And then I just look at there's 4 positions on the Chiefs O-line for sure that I'm certain about, and I feel more confident about those compared to the other teams in the division. So I'm not gonna. We can have the debate, best O-lines against the other AFC teams, maybe NFL. I'll have to take a look at other teams and see what they're working with on their O-line, but in the division, I would put them up against that. So I wasn't too, oh my God, they didn't draft that tackle. And it's like, huh?
Okay. Now, the other one was, so you really like R. Mason Thomas.
Love him.
Yeah, and I like R. Mason Thomas too. It's what I'm about to ask isn't really like R. Mason Thomas slander. It's just, I guess, like thought process.
Mm-hmm.
The main knocks against R. Mason Thomas have always been
Small.
Yeah, small. He does have short arms. Cassius Howell is very similar kind of player to R. Mason Thomas, but he was more productive in college. He's bigger. He does have slightly shorter arms. Cassius Howell has the shortest arms ever recorded for an edge player, but R. Mason Thomas is only slightly longer arms than he is, and he's overall a smaller person than Cassius Howell. What do you think the logic was for taking R. Mason over Cassius?
I think it's just legit speed.
Okay.
Like R. Mason Thomas gets off that. I mean, he's something total opposite of what we got on our roster right now. Like, because Chris can't, even when they were moving him outside, you can't keep putting him on the outside because he's getting older. That speed ain't there. He's just a big guy. So he's always been good at doing his damage inside. And Chris Jones still commands the double team. So even if you put him on the outside, he's still going to see a double. And he's not going to be fast for that. R. Mason Thomas is like dynamite. He's a stick of dynamite. Like, boom. I know with him being a smaller DN, he's going to have to literally fight to be a presence in the run game. But knowing how Spag sticks, he's not really going to put him in those situations for him to be on the field for a lot of rush plays.
Like a lot of first and second downs.
this guy,
He's gonna be designated,
and I'm okay with that. To be just a designated speed rusher, wreak havoc, because that's pretty much what the guy did, is wreak havoc as a 3-down player, and that's kind of what harping and got some injuries on him. It's because I don't think he's meant to be a 3-down player, but Oklahoma obviously needed him.
yeah.
But no, R. Mason Thomas, I think he's just going to be like literally, like, hey man, like that stick of dynamite and throw that shit on 3rd down, boom, and let's because that's our problem. We didn't get off the field 3rd down. We statistically, you can say, oh man, Chiefs got top 10 total defense. Yes, but if you watch these games, these cats were not getting off the field on 3rd down. They weren't, and they're not causing turnovers. This guy is a stick of dynamite. He's either going to sack, strip, fumble, or he's getting us off the field on 3rd down. He's a closer. I loved that pick. There was just so much that the Chiefs did, especially just defensively, even outside of him. I know people got to knock on Peter Woods, but the man, he's going to see a lot of one-on-ones, and I will put my money on a lot of one-on-ones for Peter Woods.
Yeah. I was actually going to say, I actually liked the Chiefs' 1st round. Mansour Delane, I know that there's a lot of criticism about the trade up. I get it. The Commanders and the Saints both have a corner need. They have taken him. Yeah. So I think just making sure, like, look, we don't have corners now. We gave up our 2 best corners. Let's make sure we get the best one now. I understand doing that, like, and also just doing that instead of paying the corner a lot that you have to move resources around. I get the logic of that. And then Peter Woods, I really liked that pick. He is a bit undersized for an interior defender, but he gives you some pass rush upside. If you get the 2024 version of him, if Spags is able to unlock that, then you would have just gotten the top 10 to 5 player in most people's drafts before this year. At the bottom of the 1st, he even offers edge versatility, and he was pretty productive there. So I like the Peter Woods pick a lot. I think it makes perfect sense to take a chance on someone who was that good only 1 year prior.
Absolutely. And
I also think that Clemson players got a lot of slack because they all declined at the same time. I think a lot of that was coaching more so than the player talent. And I think a lot of Clemson fans seem to agree with that. I didn't mean to cut you off, though. Go.
No.
What are you saying?
It's funny you said it. Dabo Sweeney, your gig's almost up. It's actually up. I don't know why. It must be some sentimental shit that they love you, that they're not just gonna boot you out. But regardless, Peter Woods is going to see a lot of one-on-ones. Mansour Delane, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Initially, once I took my feelings out of it, I hated it. I'm like, why would you're chasing your tail? You just let go, and then because we got to. Trey McDuffie's still 25, and I get it. Because to be honest, I kind of saw the writings on the wall anyway. Once down the back end of the season, once the Chiefs were out of contention, Christian Fulton started to get healthy, played better. Noah Williams, rookie, was playing well. So
I like Noah Williams from last year's drafts.
And see, there was some things that I'm like, wait, secondary is actually playing pretty well without McDuffie because he had got hurt down the stretch. And so I was like, that didn't bode well. And then, there was no deal that was getting reported that was getting done. And I was like, that doesn't bode well. And then next thing you know, I'm like, there you go. And by all means, he reset the quarterback market. Well deserved, obviously. It just couldn't have been here. It just wasn't. And
yeah, your quarterback situation is very expensive. You got a very expensive right guard. I do understand Chris Jones,
Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, Patrick Mahomes, all are at, if not at the top of their position market, they're damn near in the top 5. Well, not Patrick, because there's some quarterbacks that's got a lot better than him, but he's top 10. Who else is getting paid on the Chiefs?
Travis Kelce.
Oh no,
he got a more team friendly deal this go around. I think
this go around, but he was still making 17 last year.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So he cost. Bucker was at the top of the kicker market before it. Brendan Arbery just got paid, and a couple other kickers just got paid these last few weeks. He was at the top of the market. So there were cats that were just eating money on the cap. And I'm just like, that's why it's kind of like, again, Christian Fulton, they brought him over here and he was getting like, I think 10 mil, and he was coming off an ACL injury. Jalen Moore, again, brought him over. He was getting almost up to 20 million. So, and it's kind of like there were some cats that was getting some bread. So,
right. It's the reason why you guys had to move off of Joe Tooney. And I mean, I think the team absolutely clearly suffered for it. And I think you could have gotten more for him. But I understand the money is just wrapped up in too many places. And there are a lot of people that aren't, you don't want to cut a lot of those people.
No. And the fact of the matter is, and that's why once I took my emotions out of it and then put my business cap on, I was like, Mansour Delane, at worst, the floor should be Trent McDuffie. The ceiling is whatever he makes it. And the crazy thing is he can do what Trent McDuffie does, play the slot, play the outside, but he's a little bit taller, so he can handle the bigger wide receivers probably a little bit better than what Trent McDuffie did. Because that's probably the only knock I had on Trent is he's 5'11". So when he's going against Courtland Sutton, who's 6'3", 6'4", Courtland used to tear his little ass up.
Pause.
He would. Super pause, because like we said earlier, I was having a conversation with the homie Chris on our Chief show. Bo Nix, he throw them go routes. And on the other end was Courtland Sutton, and trying to make a play was Trent McDuffie struggling. So, and I'm like, and it's nothing against Trent. I think Trent, in my opinion, right now is top 3 corner. But everybody has their knock on corners. That one thing that always gets him, and it was his size. And Mansour is a little bit taller. So if he can give me Trent McDuffie production with, a 6'1" frame, I'll take it. And he's cheaper. I'll take it. So
okay. Before we end the show, I do want to. Did you get a chance to check out the UFC fight that just happened this past Saturday? Strickland and Chimaev.
Them boys was
how did you feel about the decision?
I mean, at some point in time, if the refs feel or the referees or the scorecards or whoever's keeping score, they feel like the one guy was pushing the fight a little bit more, I guess in the last moments, if they feel like they were tied going into that last round, they'll probably give it to that person. If they feel like they got the momentum.
I really struggled to understand because, I mean, when I watched that fight, it was a very competitive fight, obviously. Chimaev had 9 takedowns on him. He controlled him on the ground for about double the time. The only time...
You know why?
Well, hold on. Let me...
Yeah, go ahead.
Strickland only had him at any point on the ground because Chimaev accidentally pulled him on top of him. Mm-hmm. And he was on for a couple of minutes, and Chimaev had great ground defense to get himself back up relatively quickly. The Strickland had more significant strikes, but not by a huge margin. I really I don't get, you're giving this guy his first loss in that narrow of a margin when he dominated Strickland on the ground, easily had round one.
Randy,
All the other rounds were relatively competitive. I struggle with that decision.
you answered your own question. Have you not noticed that in how they've been judging the UFC fights lately? They want these guys to stand up and fight. If you are a complete MMA fighter and you have all the disciplines and you are killing a motherfucker on the ground and you start hearing these boos, it's because they want these guys to stand up and fight. They want you to win your matches by actually fighting and not showing a discipline no more. I think that's a trend that I've been noticing.
I think that's true.
I don't know if that's 100% the reason, but I can understand why. It's because it entertains. That's how you get the people entertained. They're not gonna want to tune in to like, I think, no disrespect, I think that's why Khabib is no longer in the UFC. He's not going. He's a MMA fighter where he's going to explore all the disciplines, and if that is my strength and you are weak against this strength, I'm going to exploit that. He had no problem keeping the guy on a damn mat for a whole 5-minute round.
And no, I get it. I mean, he retired voluntarily, but then like just have a boxing league then. Like if that's what you want, like why would you include grappling and then punish them for grappling? Like you decided you wanted it to be the best among all disciplines. Okay, Chimaev is the best among all disciplines. That's why he was undefeated going into this.
Exactly.
How are you going to punish him for doing the thing he's best at when that's the framework you've created?
It's because, Randy, they want you to have the disciplines, but they don't want you to have the disciplines. They want you to show and display that you can have the disciplines, but just give us a little spoonful of it. Just so that if we're trying to educate somebody, some new viewers, and just to educate them. But for the most part, we want you to beat the shit out of each other so we get these views up, bro. We need this money. And just by all standards, you as a fighter in UFC, you ain't gonna get a lot of it. But we'll give you some scraps, but we want this money, baby. Come on.
Yeah, I get it. It's a business decision, like okay, but like it's
part of the game.
It hurts the integrity of the fights if you know that they're essentially punishing people for the style of fighting.
Randy,
that is really what it is.
Randy, who owns UFC and WWE?
TKO.
Who's been fucking pissing us off on WWE side?
TKO.
Who the hell you think has been pissing the UFC fans off?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm saying it's bad. I'm not saying I don't get why it's happening.
All I'm saying is you answered your own question. We know who runs it. We know who runs both companies.
Yeah.
We know who's been pissing us off on both sides of this deal ever since it went down, of this whole conglomerate merger of acquiring both UFC and WWE. Everything's getting corporatized by TKO. They're going to, we want you to have elements of why we acquired you, but we own y'all. Bitches, you better make sure this damn bottom line is looking good. We know what's up.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm sure that is why. It just sucks. It sucks to end an undefeated streak that close for that reasoning.
Yeah, that's janky.
Yeah.
But the when he has more significant strikes, that shows, and I know you're saying is not by a wide margin, and sometimes it don't have to be, but if he's got them significant strikes and he's the leading pack of that, and then look at your face all beat the fuck up, and his face is he's beat the fuck up, but man, I was willing to stand up more than you, and they want that. Oh man, go out on your shield, have courage.
Also, it's not like Chimaev didn't. Like, he had like almost 100 significant strikes. Like Strickland had like 130. Like, it just was. It doesn't close the gap to me. But
I hear you. I hear you, because I thought it was a supposed to be a discipline, multiple disciplines that you can display it. So
Right. But yeah, I mean, I think we covered everything. I mean, one more bad draft pick I mentioned before, Keldrick Falk, which I think is going to be the Michael Williams, Shamar Stewart of this next draft. We'll see how that works, but it's just like, look, if you're bad in college, I don't expect you to be better against bigger players. That's
and Shamar Stewart came off that 97 quick the next, dog. I wonder how much them commas and zeros was on that motherfucking check.
Yep.
Y'all know what it is, man. Always a pleasure to chop it up, man. This was good. I know we went a bit longer, but hey, man, me and Brody hadn't been on in a couple of weeks. We gotta, talk our shit. So, but we appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the I.O.W Sports Network on all social media platforms. Tap in with myself, KC Walcott on the Twitter for all the stuff that I be dropping. You need audio needs. Panther on Acid on Instagram to tap in with the bro, Randy Weber. And hey, until the next time, man, y'all know what it is. We about you. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Peace.
Yeah. Silent Hill TDS, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. We about to raise